What's going on, guys? I'm here at Ron Hoover today to have a discussion with you about a topic that I think is pretty important, especially if you're shopping for a new RV. Before I get started with that topic, I'm going to be doing it from inside this Cameo fifth wheel. This is a really cool setup. It's got a rear kitchen, full residential fridge, huge 55-inch TV. Nice layout for the living room area because it has kind of like a rear living room floor plan, but right here in the center. Really cool. Has a very residential feel to it because of the layout. They give you a really nice area for your laundry, all your connections. You walk upstairs, go in the master bedroom, and similar to the other Cameo I showed you, it's got this really gorgeous front bedroom area where you have a seat and a huge window to look out. Very nice. Plus, if you look at this area here, you have your entertainment area plus a second fireplace and all this cabinetry because they essentially put this entire piece on a super slide out, which makes it really convenient. Gives you tons of storage. Moved along to the inside of a Bighorn, which has that trim package that you can have ordered with it, where it basically gives you some beautiful trim across the top of the RV and around other areas. Looks really nice. So the topic of today's video is to discuss something that I think a lot of people have been waiting for me to discuss. You'll see a lot of RV walkthrough videos similar to units like this. You'll see me walk through travel trailers and lower cost units, smaller units, and very large fifth wheels. One thing that I always talk about are things like the details, like all the trim work and the fact that you get solid surface countertops, upgraded stoves, things like that. But then a couple weeks later, you'll see me post a video about why all RVs have problems and some of the issues that you may have getting into an RV, as well as some of the manufacturing problems that take place when building these. And of course, meeting stringent quotas and deadlines and timelines, and how most RVs, and pretty much all of them, are going to have some type of problem at some point, even if it's a very minor problem all the way up to very major issues. The reason why I make those videos is because I want to point out the reality in owning an RV, whether it's going to be a large fifth wheel, whether it's going to be a travel trailer, a class A, B, or C, or really any type of coach that you might find yourself looking at or getting into. I don't want you getting into a travel trailer or an RV with the impression that everything is going to work perfectly all the time, every time. And when you have that general understanding that owning an RV is very similar to owning a home, except it's subjected to a tornado or a hurricane several times a year or more, you have a better understanding of how to deal with some of the problems that may arise with RV ownership. And that's the point. Just because I put a video out there that says, you know, the way that it's assembled, the way it's glued and adhered together, and the pieces that they use may not always be the best, or may not always be done in the best possible way, does not mean that I'm saying you shouldn't get into RVing. We love it, even though we've had issues. We've had minor issues, and we've had things that we've had to take care of and address through ownership. Now, the point that I'm making ultimately is, when you look at how an RV is constructed, it's essentially a micro version of how a home is constructed. If you build a home, you're going to realize that even though it's custom, even though it's very expensive, you're probably going to have issues at some point. You're going to have nails or screws that just weren't put in correctly. You're going to have little flaws that occur. An RV is no different. When you buy a fifth wheel travel trailer or motorhome, you are going to have little things like that take place simply because the type of construction that's necessary to put one of these together. Now, I'm not discouraging anyone from taking the leap into RVing, but you need to understand that when you do so, having that general understanding of tools, knowing how to use them, knowing how to be a handyman, knowing how to take care of little issues is really going to be the difference between really enjoying the coach you have or regretting your purchase. If you haven't noticed, I've moved to another fifth wheel. This is another Bighorn. Now, a lot of people have the belief that RVs are expensive, and I agree. In my opinion, any purchase, regardless of your income, regardless of the class you live in, unless you're just a super rich millionaire or multimillionaire, anything over $10,000 to me, I would consider a major purchase. I don't care what it is, whether it's a watch, whether it's a car, whether it's an RV, whatever it is. If you're paying over $10,000, you expect to get value from that. There have been people that have made the claim that a $150,000 fifth wheel is built the same as a $10,000 fifth wheel, and that is a far, far stretch. In no way is that true. Some of the basic practices may be the same, but overall, the construction, the quality, and the components are going to be vastly different. When you look at what RVs cost to manufacture, what they sell for, and what they ask for them, those are really three very different numbers. So if you look at a unit like this, and this fifth wheel is probably, you know, in the $90,000 MSRP range. When you walk out with it, you're probably going to pay closer to $60,000, so 30 grand off the price. And the cost to manufacture one of these, if you were to try to do it yourself without taking in volume and scale and the amount of discounts you get because you are ordering cabinets or you're ordering wood or frames and the components by the thousands, it would probably cost you in the $45,000 range to build. Mainly because you could easily say, well, I could go out and buy a chassis off of a gooseneck for $10,000 and I'll have a stronger platform. That's very possibly true. You could do that. But is it going to be designed and is it going to be set up for a fifth wheel? No, which means you'll have to fabricate everything from your lower compartments, all of the control equipment, all of the electrical wiring, the tanks, everything to work properly. Now, if you're a handyman, you could do it, right? There's been people that have built their own fifth wheels and they've done it pretty well. They've built some pretty decent looking units. I wouldn't say any of them are truly attractive, though. I wouldn't say any of them would rival what something like this looks like towing down the road. So cosmetically speaking, which a lot of people make purchasing decisions off of cosmetics as well as the engineering and the design, you're not going to really be able to build a homegrown fifth wheel that matches the look, the appearance, and the feel of something like this. Secondly, the construction of the sidewalls, the construction of the components, the ability for you to do your own laminated sidewall in the way that they can do it here, and for it to hold up is probably not going to be as good. Now, I know there's going to be people on my channel who say, I could easily do it. Well, your time is also worth money. So if you are that skilled and you are such a skilled laborer that you can do it all yourself, well, how much would that normally equate to in income? If you had a neighbor that said, hey, I want you to build me one, at the same time, I need you to take off of work for X number of days, months, years, whatever to do it, how much would they have to pay you for you to sustain your lifestyle while at the same time building something that you feel could compete against something like this? So I want you to take that into consideration. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're buying an RV, regardless of what class it is, regardless of what type it is, as long as you're getting it for a reasonable price, a price that takes into account your market, the discounts that are available, the traditional cost difference between MSRP and out the door price, as long as you're getting it for a good price, and that price is going to vary based on every model of RV that's out there, every dealership that's out there, and the supply and demand of the specific one you're looking at. But so long as you are getting it for a good price, you're going to be getting good value and good engineering ultimately for what you're paying. There are people that pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for homes to find out that the construction of their home in some cases is worse than the construction of their RV. If you take your $100,000 to $500,000 home and you strap it on wheels and pull it down the road every single month, multiple times, how well is your home going to withstand that? How well is your home going to be able to take it? So just the fact that these coaches, even if there's minor trim issues, even if the way that they adhered something wasn't exactly the best possible way to do it on your particular coach, even if there's minor problems that arise while using it, you still have to consider how well it's holding up in the long run, given the fact that it's designed to be pulled down the road. Anyways, guys, I know I've been pacing back and forth in this fifth wheel, which is actually a really nice floor plan with a massive master bedroom. This thing is really huge. It's got one of those double slide deals here in the master bedroom, which pretty much doubles how far out the bed can go, giving you just a tremendous amount of front room or space here. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and I will talk to you again soon.